I'll do anything that you want to. Shopping sprees right by the shoe. If you want it, you need it, I got it, baby.
Hi, my name is Tina Ison. I'm here with my cousin, and today we're going to talk about forgiveness.
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Stacy Pickney. And as Tina has stated, we're going to talk about forgiveness, what it means to you, what it means to me, and what it means to us. And I guess the first question I have, well, a lot of people find it hard to forgive. Do you find it hard to forgive people?
I don't.
Okay. Do you find it hard to forgive yourself?
No.
Okay. Well, the reason why I thought this topic is important, and I just wanted to share something personal. Recently, I experienced where I had to learn how to forgive myself. And I really have a difficult time forgiving myself because I internalize a lot. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced that because I always, for some reason, I'm in my head and I strive for perfection. And when I make a mistake or a lapse in judgment or a lapse or something that goes against me being a better person, it's hard for me to forgive myself. In due time, the emotional feelings behind it weans away. But I do notice initially it hits me hard, I should say. Have you ever experienced, when you forgive, do you also forget? Some people will forgive you, but they will say, no, I won't forget.
You want to know how I feel about that?
Yeah, do when you forgive someone, do you forget about the situation, or you keep it in mind? I forgive you, but I'm gonna keep it in mind as well.
Okay.
How do you operate?
For me, it depending on what it is that needs to be forgave or forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something small, it's just like, okay, no problem. But a lot of times I do forget, even like when my kids was younger and I would put them on punishment or take something away, I would forget that they on punishment because I just forget.
Okay.
So for me, it's like remembering it. But if it's something serious, I will forgive. But it's hard to forget certain things depending on what the grievance was.
I got you. I understand that. I normally, my position on forgetting, I'll forgive you, but if you keep on doing the same behavior, I can't forget. I can't. And after a while, I'll just know how to navigate around you, as really whatever experience that was. Now, if you honestly, it came to me and asked for my forgiveness, and your behavior has changed, I'll forget what took place because obviously at that point, at that juncture, you're making a change in your behavior where we're moving or elevating. So to a higher level in our friendship, where where you're not gonna make a conscious decision to revert back to that behavior where I had to forgive you. Some people find it hard to forgive people, and then people need to realize forgiveness is not always. It's not for the other person. It's for you. When you're asking, especially if you made an offense to somebody. Let me make myself clear. When you have made an offense to somebody and you go to that person and ask them for forgiveness, forgiveness is for you. It's actually for you, not really for them. Have you ever experienced that when you found out that you offended somebody and you asked them for their forgiveness and and how did you feel prior to asking for their forgiveness? First of all, let me ask you that.
I apologized, and it's one particular situation that I can't recall. We was here in the shop, and it was two friends here. One was Yogi, and another was another young lady. And I said to her, like, she acts like a man, or she is mannish, and she was pissed. And I don't think I asked her to forgive me. I did apologize for it, and I did feel bad because I didn't think of it in that way. And Yogi was like, "Yeah, T, I knew, she was gonna be mad about that." And it bothered me because I didn't want to come off like that. But to me, that's how you appear, But who am I, to say that? So I'm kind of like watching the words that I use now because things are offensive to people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, sometimes I say stuff and I'm not even thinking about it. And it's hurtful. It can be hurtful, and I'm a little bit rough. And so I'm trying to scale back. So I'm doing a lot of just listening and looking instead of speaking.
Okay. So let me circle back right quick to that scenario. So when you ask that person to forgive you, so initially I think I heard you say, tell us that you did feel bad.
I felt bad.
So you, in most, regardless, you felt bad because you knew you offended somebody. Correct?
So here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I never asked her for forgiveness. I did apologize, right, for it. I felt bad because I never want to make her feel any kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's what made me feel bad. And I still feel the same way. She's very mannish and masculine in the things that she does. But I do, I did want to know that I was sorry for saying that because it wasn't, it's not right, and I didn't want to make her feel any kind of way.
Well, let me ask you this: how, other than, did she express to you how you made her feel?
Yeah, she wasn't happy about it. But
how did you know?
She didn't,
I mean, by
because it was like the
facial?
whole body language, the body language change or whatever. You could like she looked sad
So,
about it.
okay, so you knew those were her feelings, even
Right.
though they weren't expressed, regardless of what you probably thought. Those were her feelings. Those are her valid feelings. So, when you apologized, what was her response?
I think she told me something about it went back to childhood.
Okay, but did she forgive you? Did she say, "All right, I know"?
Well, we
problem,
still
can move
friends.
on"?
We still friends. So I think it was forgiven.
Yeah.
But I know certain things like to how to navigate
Okay.
with her,
Okay.
especially in terms of like I guess being more masculine or rough or aggressive.
Okay. Okay. I can see that, and I understand. The reason I asked you that, again, just like you, I try not to hurt people's feelings. People's feelings are valid. And I remember I had an incident at my job where I went off on a colleague. I went off. And regardless of the situation, who was right, who was wrong, or whatever, I know it offended this young lady. And about a couple of weeks later, from the heart, because also, again, forgiveness is about you. I was out of character in front of several other colleagues. I approached her and asked for forgiveness. Now, whether she accepted or not, at the time when I asked her, I told her, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you." It just relieved me because it came from the heart. What I was actually really came from her, and I don't want to do that behavior again towards her or anybody else. That's what I'm saying. So regardless of right or wrong, do you get a feeling of release, feeling better for yourself, and then also, like you said, navigating going forward. This is something behavior I choose not to participate in. So I was just curious, when you apologized, did you feel a sense of release? I feel a sense of feeling better after that.
I felt better because I wanted her to feel better, and for myself too. I don't want to say things that's offensive to others because that is my friend. I do respect her and I value our friendship. So if something is going to hurt your feelings, I'm gonna be mindful and watch what I say because you just can't say anything to people and think it's okay.
No, and that's true, and that's true. And I'm glad you said that when we start to value our friendships, our relationships, I think we change our behavior and we be more mindful, and then also that's where forgiveness comes in. When we're sincere about if we have done somebody wrong, because we value them, we value their friendship. We don't want to lose them if all possible. And I understand sometimes some people, depending on the offense, they may not be ready to forgive you at that time. But if you know that you're coming from the heart, that's the key. If you know you coming from the heart, for me, and I have an issue with projecting, think everybody should think the same, which that's another topic. But if you're coming from the heart, all you can do is ask the person for forgiveness, and then couple with, now it can't be a situation I'm gonna keep on doing the same behavior. Then you have to change the behavior. Just like vice versa, if somebody's offended me, if they ask for my forgiveness, it has to come from the heart, coupled with a change of behavior.
Right.
And I think that makes a difference in terms of now we can proceed going on to the next level. Our friendship is not going to be stagnant or just holding grudges, because that's a whole nother thing. When you start holding grudges against somebody or doing the blame game and acting childish, well, he did this to me or she did that to me, it's irrelevant. because those are, if somebody's bringing to your attention their feelings, those are their feelings, period. And I had to learn that over time as we mature, grow up, whatever you want to call it. We might be like, man, why are you so sensitive or why? But regardless, if somebody brings something to your attention, those are that person's feelings, period. Now, what you choose to do, that's on you. But those are people's feelings, and as you stated, we value those feelings. We forgive or ask for forgiveness.
So we're gonna table this and come right back for a second because I want to address that, but we're gonna take a little break.
Okay.
All right. So back to forgiveness, right?
Okay.
So I don't have a problem forgiving, right? It's certain things that happen to me. I'll forgive you. I'll love you and everything, but it's how you come back from it. Certain things, like I have people leave the shop, they owe money or whatever, and they'll curse me out. So you can't come back from that. So it's certain things that I will forgive, right? So if you just left and look, I'm on hard times, I need your help, can you help me out, whatever, no problem. But if you like, oh, it's your fault, you didn't do this, somebody stole this or whatever, and so it's how you leave and how you try to come back. So if you leave it good, then I can forgive you. But if it's all messed up, it's hard for me to forgive that or move forward from it, if that makes sense. Right?
You're not.
So look now, another scenario is my husband. He don't forgive nothing, and to me that's a problem for me because it's biblical for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bible says that we have to forgive, so I gotta forgive you, And so when you come to me and it's just like, oh well, you did this and did that. Well, when we gonna let it go? Are we gonna move forward from it? Like you said, sometimes behaviors don't change, or it just looks the same, and I don't know what that looks like. Look on the outside looking in, and I can't say that his feelings are not valid, but. I'm just like, what? Well, so 30 years we still talking about the same thing? 20 years? When? At what point is enough enough? Or what point, do you really forgive or you don't? That's my question to you.
Do you really forgive or you don't?
Because people say, yeah, I forgive you, but do you forgive me if you still talking about it?
And that's a good question, and I'm glad you posed that to me. That's what I was asking. For me, it goes hand in hand with forgetting. If you continue on with the same behavior, I forgive you because I'm not going to hold that in me. All that grudge, that toxic, because unforgiveness can be toxic. I'll just know how to navigate around you. Just for instance, I don't want to say confront, but I had something on my mind about a friend of mine, how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
I was being treated. And I addressed it with her. Even though I addressed it with, and it was a great feeling. That's a whole new topic with forgiveness because I think it comes when it lets you release.
It does.
It release whatever resentment you may have, any unforgiveness, because it's all of that is doing when you unforgive is holding you back from whatever, for you going to the next level, whatever that level looks like for you. So I released that. I addressed it with her. Thinking that once I address it, I made the assumption that maybe the behavior would change.
Okay.
It never changed, and that was all right. That was all right. I just felt better for myself, and that opened the door for other people to come and new things to come in my way, and also helped me mature, use my voice that I haven't used in a while to address it. So I don't normally. I'll forgive. Like forgiveness again is for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can emphasize. If you continue on with the same behavior, then I can't forget because you're still bringing it in my face. That's just obvious. You're still bringing it in my face.
And it's funny that you say that because that's his issue, right? So he's like, well, you keep doing the same thing. I'm like, well, what am I doing? But his problem is, I guess, the way I interact with men for him. But to me, is my interaction with people are the same. It's no different. The way I talk to you, the way I talk to you, or let's say Sine or anybody else, my people skills, my people, and how I relate to people are the same. It's no different because they're a man or a woman. And so, but for him, it's like, oh, just the behavior looks the same. And I'm like, how does that look? What does that look like? But I can't say that his feelings are not valid, but it's just like, oh, now what? Where we go from here?
Do you think, and I'm trying to, I want to stay on topic, but you brought up another thing. Do you think, have you considered change? Well, let me back up. Has he told you anything specifically that you have done that in terms of your behavior when you in the midst of men or whatever the case may be, when you're around men, that he sees that, I don't like that behavior.
Okay.
Has he given you something
So
specific?
and the reason why I could talk about it today because he was dropping me up to church and I told him about the toilet seat because that really bothers me. So he's like, well, what about you with such and such? And I'm like, he was like somebody that I was sitting too close next to. I'm like, I don't notice that. Like I don't know. I'm oblivious to certain things. I'm not paying attention to that because I'm just sitting down. So I'm just like, what does that have to do with you putting down the damn toilet seat? And it's just like, well, you're not changing. I'm like, changing what?
And you brought something with that example, and going back to what forgiveness is not tit for tat.
Right.
Forgiveness is not tit for tat. Meaning, if you generally gonna come up to somebody and ask for forgiveness, I don't expect, well, you did this. That's why, it's accountability, take ownership
Right.
of what your role was in that particular situation. I don't know his definition of forgiveness. I don't know. And that's something, I don't know if you explored that with him, his definition of forgiveness, or how he forgive. Does he ever forgive? Had you had a
It may not be.
conversation
And here's the
about
thing:
that?
is I guess now that we're talking about it, it probably is no forgiveness. That's why it still keeps coming up.
But we're making an assumption.
Yeah, we are.
So have you had an intimate conversation with him? When I say intimate, that could be an intimate conversation. Hey, babe, let's sit down and talk. And I'm just curious, what is your definition of forgiveness? Do you forgive? How does that look? What does it look like for you? Those are conversations that you can have that goes back. I'm a strong believer of communication. So there's no assumption, because when we started, so we get in our own heads. We start thinking the words, like you said, you already went to no forgiveness.
Right.
His forgiveness could be, he could be like, yeah, I forgive, but I won't forget. But that's a conversation that y'all can have. And while we're on that topic, what is your definition of forgiveness? Or, well, you kind of already shared it.
My definition is letting it go. It's over.
Go.
I'm not gonna keep bringing up certain things, right?
How do you look at that person? Would you look if they? I guess you kind of answer this, and I guess I'm circling back. Once you forgave, and let's say they don't continue with that behavior, you look at them. You don't see them from the same eyes in terms of how they behave when they act prior to asking you for your forgiveness, right? It's a clean slate.
So
It's a clean slate.
That's it. It's a clean slate.
It's a clean slate at that time, but we still rocking and rolling. We're gonna have a good time. That's how.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep it. After it's over, it's over.
Okay, and I see that. And let me say this, and while we're here, you have a very kind heart. I see that in you. It goes deeper than just you talking about your shop, what goes on the shop. For me, it goes deeper. You have a very kind heart, and I could see where, hey, just treat me right. I forgive you. I'm not gonna hold on to it. And I see, even if that person you had mentioned, anybody who gets upset, or which was saying about the example, who left on bad terms and talking about what you did, and I could see if that person or any person came back and said, Tina, I made a mistake. Can I come back? I made a mistake. I could see you still accepting them, whereas other people may not, may not do it for whatever reason.
No, because some people just really not forgiving. So, like I said, for me, it's how you leave it, and what you did, and how do we get to that point? Because sometimes it's just like, no, I can't. And it's not that I can't forgive you. I just can't fool with you no more like that. I don't trust you no more to get, so I can't. I'm not gonna just keep giving you passes and giving you passes and giving you. We gotta cut it off at the throat at some point.
Okay, so let me ask you, with forgiveness, would there be a conversation at some point? Let's say, when I say let's do that, your scenario. That person left with on bad terms, or you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, whatever, your fault. They left, they said, Tina, I apologize. How I acted was wrong. I had some time to think. Can I come back? What were your responses?
Now, see
Let's
that.
go.
Okay, so I may take it back, because I had a situation over in in the property, and it was just like I was on the phone with the lawyer, we need to file eviction, blah blah blah, and he came real humble. Look, no, okay, I'm sorry, whatever. And I was able to forgive it because I didn't go to that step. This is what I got to do, whatever. And we talked about it and we worked it out. And because me, I consider you a friend. When I consider you a friend, I'll give you those passes. I will. Oh, you didn't do this. Or da, 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 da. We can talk about it, whatever. We talked about it, worked it out. He's still there.
So, and it's
No
taken
problem.
no issues, but it was a conversation. In that conversation, forgiveness.
He
Apologize
apologized.
for his behavior. So now your expectation is don't bring that behavior back to me.
Right.
All right.
So,
So,
and you got to be apologetic, and you got to accept when you're wrong. Accountability.
Let me ask you this, Tina. Then, is there ever been a situation, even though the person came back to you and apologized, but you could not look at them the same, and the relationship cannot be the same? Has there been any situation like that?
Not that I can recall, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, because things, I don't know, things are not that bad. There are situations, it's not as getting on my nerves.
Good.
There are situations with, like some childhood trauma that is hard for me to forgive. And when I was talking to my friend, which is a counselor, he's like, Tina, you gotta let it go. And once I let it go, I felt a release in me that it was just like, because he was like, why are you holding on to it? And I had to ask myself, why am I holding on to it? Because I'm so angry. This happened, and I just kept holding it. And when I released it, when he said that to me, it was like instant, and I just felt better about it.
And let me ask you, if you don't mind me getting personal, how did you release it? As soon as you had a conversation with him,
I thought about what he said, and it just something clicked. Like something clicked in my brain, and I was just like, okay, just like something was here, right? Paula came and she was like, Tina, you got to get rid of it. It was a cabinet or something. She was like, you got to get rid. No, Kevin was like, let's throw it out. And I'm like, no, something. So Paula came in one day. She's like, Tina, throw it out. Get rid of it. So, and her one word was, is outdated. Outdated, bing, is in the garbage.
And I can feel you on that. Some things, somebody can say something to you, and you don't move on it. You don't move. But somebody else can say something, maybe the same thing, but maybe a little different, one word. And the light bulb will go off, and then you move on it. I get that. So when he said to you, release it, that's the light bulb went off and you just released it.
It's like, you gotta let it go. Why? He was like, what's the purpose of you holding on to it?
Did you ask yourself when you was processing, why were you holding on to it?
Because it was hurt. I felt like I was so hurt, and it's like you're gonna have to cut this because it just brings it. Because I was just so
Be
hurt.
vulnerable. Go ahead.
No, I can't. It just brought so much. It was just so much hurt that I. But when I let it go, I released it. I was good. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Now I can move on because I was holding on to it. And it's like bag. What the put it down. It's heavy. It's heavy. And so when I did feel better.
So you was a bag lady.
I was holding on because I was mad. I was angry. I got to do this. He did this. He wronged me.
But sister, you're not the only one. We all, at some point in our lives, somebody's done us wrong, in some shape or form that we hold on to that anger, and that's why I start off with the first part of this. For me, I do a lot of hurt to myself. See, I do a lot of hurt, enough hurt to myself, and it's harder for me to release than if I had to do it with somebody else. Sometimes why I do ask for forgiveness of somebody is ego. Or, afraid with how they respond, ego. Now, I'm not going to do that. And you have run in your head all the things like why you should not ask for forgiveness. And knowing darn well you should go and apologize.
That's true. And then, like my oldest daughter says, why are they going to apologize if they're not sorry? For some people, they, because I expect that. Tell me I'm sorry, but why?
Well, okay, say that again.
So sometimes we expect people to say, will you forgive me or apologize, and they're not sorry. So we're expecting something like that. Why is she going to say sorry? Why are he going to say sorry? He's not sorry. He's not, because my feelings is hurt, I'm expecting somebody to say, oh, well, I'm sorry. But then, everybody not sorry. Or they'll say it and not mean it. And there's probably times that I said, I'm sorry, and I didn't really mean it. Like, you mad because you, oh, I said, oh, the girl looked like a man. I did feel bad because
But-
it was not right, and I don't want to make anybody feel any kind of way.
But
But
that's
was I
it.
sorry?
Pause it. That's the issue. That's what I want you to get. It's not what you, because you got your feelings and your opinions.
Right.
It's that you felt bad because you did not want to make somebody feel
Feel
bad.
bad.
That's what it is.
Right.
It's not, you got your, I mean, you got your opinion about that. But we never, I hope we don't, as people, try to make people feel bad.
Right.
Or unintentionally, intentionally, whatever the case, but consciously, unconsciously. We never, I hope that's never the goal. Now, there are some people, that is their goal for tit for tat.
Yes.
Because all we know, because we do know hurt people hurt.
Right.
Hurt people hurt. But again, forgiveness is just, and like I said, I just went something recently, and I had to learn how to forgive myself. It was a little difficult, because I'm like, golly, I was doing so good. And I've internalized that emotion when I was up in church crying. And I was in church
Oh,
crying.
that's me every Sunday.
But
the
no,
service
for
ain't
that,
good if I ain't crying.
No, but as it relates to forgiving me, not in terms of the service, it's forgiving myself. And, just felt like God was just saying to me, we all make mistakes. Just don't do it again. Just don't do it again, Stacey. Just don't do it again. And I even talked to you about it. You said you learn from it. Everybody, that was the theme. And I need to stop talking to everybody, but nonetheless, that was the theme. Stop. You learn from it. You have to learn from it. And again, another part of forgiveness and especially unforgiveness, that resentment inside. That could, that causes, it could cause also medical issues, health issues within inside.
Because it becomes stress.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta let stuff go. You can't hold on to it.
Oh, yes. And then again, what you said, when you start to let things go, the unforgiveness can stop you from going to the next level. If you're planning to go to the next level in your life, whatever that might be, professionally, personally, it can stop you. It could be a barrier to you going to the next level. And I'm sure a lot of people want to go to that next level. And that goes,
right.
As I'm pointing, I'm talking about inside. Everything, I'm a strong believer, everything starts within. Everything is within. We need to clean out within the toxins to go to the next level, because you can't dress up a garbage can.
No, you can't.
You cannot dress up. If your inside is not right, that's what you're gonna project. One of my sisters who gives me stretching, and then doing.
You get stretched from a lady?
Yeah, a lady and a man. Young sister. She said, whatever you feel inside is what you're gonna project. So going back to your husband, maybe that's what he feels inside. Maybe somebody didn't forgive him. Maybe he's holding on to that. So he's projecting that. I don't know, but again, that goes to having a conversation with him. Whatever you feeling inside is what you're gonna project. There's been some nasty people who talk nasty to you. Who might, and that's how they are. They're not gonna change. Don't have the expectation that they're gonna apologize. Just realize, they must be. Don't take it personally. There's something inside of them that they have to deal with, that they're projecting out. And we do that a lot. There's a lot of people like that. But you carry on. The key is don't be tit for tat.
No,
for them.
right.
Nasty towards them. But I'm glad you shared that, and I'm glad you shared that. I'm glad we had this opportunity. There's somebody else we're considering talking to.
Okay. Kai,
from a male perspective, because I'm just curious. Is there a difference, or we're just all the same? Humans are humans, people are people.
Male and female.
Forgiveness applies the same way to males as it applies to females, and vice versa. So I would like his perspective on that.
How you doing, guys? You're here with Tina Said. I want to introduce a guest today from...
Hi, I'm Kai Tattoos. I hear a tattoo here in Tucker, Georgia.
So today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. We just asked Kai to join us because we want a male perspective on forgiveness.
Yes, Kai, and thank you for being here today.
Of course.
And I got a quick question. We've been talking all morning about forgiveness, and I've been speaking with my cousin from a female perspective. And I guess my question to you, and she's mentioned she's easy to forgive, to forgive folks. What are your thoughts on it? How do male, do y'all feel the same? I mean, or better yet, is it just, the individual? It's not
Mhm.
so much a male-female
Mhm.
situation.
Mhm.
It's just the individual and the circumstances. Why are we asking forgiveness, and why are we receiving forgiveness? So
Mm.
what are your thoughts on that?
Forgiveness. I feel like that is a hard topic. A lot of people hold that very secure. They don't forgive a lot. In my experience, I find a lot of people are like that. I feel like I forgive just freely. You feel me? As long as I'll forgive you, but whether I continue to talk to you is based on whether you take accountability. But you will be forgiven
Gotcha.
no matter what. I just might not talk to you no more.
So what's the accountability part?
It's whether when I bring up the issue, if they're willing to be like, oh, I'm sorry for doing that, or I can see your perspective in doing that, or I just didn't mean to do it like that. You know, just in a like, but not in a like, oh, well, I'm sorry you took it that way. Da da da. You feel me? Like
Sound
that.
like me.
But I feel like that's just the part where it keeps the relationship going. Cause I can forgive you from afar. I don't need to. We don't need to continue a relationship, but I'm not gonna hold that hate in my heart because that's stress in the body.
Right.
The adrenal glands, you know, the brain, you know, that stress that's inflammatory, you know, just I like to release that. But if you're a person who's not gonna be apologetic, at least to a small extent, there's no reason to keep having a relationship because then it's gonna be forgiveness without thought always.
Interesting.
That's a different perspective.
Yeah, that's definitely a different perspective. Why in the beginning you mentioned forgiveness is a hard topic?
I just feel like for people in general, because I find a lot of people are really like stingy with their forgiveness. They're like, oh, I can't forgive them for doing this. Da, da, da. So when you talk to other people, it is a hard topic to relate on for me at least, because people are so stingy with their forgiveness.
That's interesting you say that people are stingy with their forgiveness. They can't. In other words, you're saying they can't forgive you.
Yeah.
Those same people, do you think they have a hard time asking for forgiveness when they've done something wrong?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Got you.
And my thing is, I feel like some people forget. I don't know if they forgive or whatever, but if somebody done something to you, right, and you keep hanging around them, and you know it's not right, why keep doing it? It's like, why you keep putting yourself through
Yeah,
that?
and there doesn't need to be hate to distance yourself from somebody, but you can distance somebody out of love because I want your life and my life to be more peaceful.
Understandable.
And that's interesting that you mention the word love. Is it more you putting yourself first, your priority, out of love for you?
I think now in my life, yes.
Okay. It's not so much. It's not like you taking away love from the individual, but as you're talking, I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's putting you as a priority and loving you,
Mm-hmm.
putting you 1st.
Mm-hmm. Without hurting someone else.
Correct. We never.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The goal is
Right.
never
Yeah.
to, hopefully,
Yeah.
tit for tat or hurt somebody's
Yeah,
feelings
no.
intentionally, unintentionally, or whatever the case may be. The goal is, for me, the goal in this time in my life is to spread love. It's about
Exactly,
love
yeah.
and loving myself first, and then I'm knowing that when I have unforgiveness inside of me, yeah, it is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, as I shared with Tina earlier, there was an incident with a young lady at my job. I became out of character, said some nasty things towards her, and once I asked her to forgive me, the really forgiveness was for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think she forgave me reluctantly. She was like, because it hurt her. She
Yeah.
still had to process that. What I said to really hurt her.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of folks, you can't rush forgiveness. That's another thing.
No, not at all.
Ooh,
Can't
you
at
can't
all.
rush that. Folks.
You be wanting, hey, forgive me right now. No, can't right now.
Not right now.
But that's when, as we're talking, that's really when you realize, well, for me, you got to do the work then. Meaning, if that other person is not ready to jump back how we used to be,
Yeah.
you have to stand back and understand, okay,
Yeah.
give them time to process whatever they need to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to force it
Mm-hmm.
or rush it on them. And that's when work
Mm-hmm.
comes in.
Because everything is relative. Everything's about someone else's perspective.
Yes.
So, your perspective, like, I didn't mean to wrong you, but in your perspective, I absolutely can see that. So I'll be first to say sorry. Hey, I'm sorry for doing that. Like, how can we fix that? How can we move past that? Because from your perspective, obviously, no one can see within each other's eyes. You feel me?
Yes.
So perspectives are always different. Nothing is the same. You can see the same image, the same movie, the same piece of art. It's all going to be thought about differently.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. All right. But I appreciate it.
Okay.
I
so,
appreciate you guys having me
Yeah,
on.
Thank you
So we're gonna
much.
close out. I'm
Correct.
Tina Ison Pegram. You can find me on all social media. Sometimes I drop the Pegram. Sometimes I'm Tina Ison. I forget. So charge it to charge it to the game, not to my heart. And this is
My name is Stacy Pickney, and I am Tina's cousin. And
And I'm Kai Tattoos. I tattoo here in Tucker, Georgia. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok, kai.tattoos.
wonderful.
how you guys doing? I'm Tina Ison here on Tina Said with my cousin Stacy, my other guest Amani, and we're gonna be talking about space, sharing your space or people invading space.
And let's start it off. When you talk about sharing space and invading space, what do you mean?
So let me say this. I used to live in New Jersey, right? And when I would go to the laundromat, right, and wash clothes, there's a whole laundromat. Why? And I'm doing my laundry in one machine. Why would you come and put your stuff in the machine next to me? No, I just don't like that. I just think that's invasion of space. Like, go do it over there. Why are you here? Why?
You don't feel like a sense of sisterhood if a black woman comes next to you, she doing her laundry, you don't look back at your old life and be like, that used to be me.
No.
I used to do that.
No, because I want my, and I know it's not my laundromat, but it's just like all of these machines. Now, as we spoke about, if you're gonna come and have a conversation, it may be a little bit different. But you just come and plopping next to me, putting your dirty clothes in the machine next to mine, and you not saying nothing, you rushing and you fumbling and you know spilling stuff. Why when there's machines down there?
So what about it makes you uncomfortable?
I just don't like it. I don't, and that's a good question. I have to visit that. Even though like when we was talking about just even at the gym, if it's early in the morning, it's just me and there and maybe a few other people, and there's a treadmill here and there's 5 down there. Why would you come right next to me here?
And let me ask you that with that in mind, what does it make you feel like when they, is it something physical?
I'm hearing them.
Oh, okay. Amani, tell him to keep the noise down.
I don't know.
Come on, Amani. Amani gonna regulate it.
Man, you gotta give me more about something more than them damn treadmills.
No, okay,
You
yeah,
gotta
but I'm
come
just
on.
telling
And
you.
then laundry in New Jersey.
Shit.
You gotta,
Space, don't come over here,
give me
man.
some more. You gotta, and I want you
This
to,
our last one.
Yes.
and then segue into
This our
relationships.
last
This our last one.
This is our last one. Then they can talk as much as they want.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
Alright.
Okay.
So we can pick up cuz you just were starting.
Okay. And I was talking about how does that make you feel? Is it an emotional feeling or just the aspect of somebody right there physically next to you?
I think for me, it's just like, okay, so if you are gonna come, right, and right next to me, at least have a conversation. You just there, just in my space when you don't have to be, because there's other areas in here that you could utilize, but you come next to me and then you don't even talk. You don't say good morning, you don't say hi, good afternoon, nothing. You just in my space.
So why not you start a conversation then if they invade your space?
Maybe next
Why
time.
not make yourself comfortable then in that situation?
Right, you're right. I never thought about it like that. I'm just thinking like, why are you here?
Mm.
If you're not, you know, because when I'm in a person's presence, I do speak, whether I know you or not. I'm like, hello, you know. I think your friend came in yesterday and she was coming out, and I was sitting outside. I was like, how you doing? I'm Tina, and she was like, hi, I'm whatever.
Mhm.
But that's just me, and I know I can't expect everybody to think like me. But it's just, to me, it's like certain things is common courtesy, and people don't have that.
That's not common for everybody. You know,
Right.
that's one of my father taught me when I was young. When you mentioned that, when you know, like walk in the room. I know we're going off a little bit, but in space, you know, when you walk in the room, speak to everybody.
Well, that's the
Some
space.
people,
Yeah, it's coming,
you know,
entering and exiting. You coming into
you know.
somebody's space. At least, you know, hello, good afternoon. It's just courtesy.
So that's what bothers you. Just the common courtesy behind it.
That's
that
yeah.
really-
I mean, is that, and it's just like I guess it's. I don't know what's behind it, because why come here if you could go there? You know, I
No,
don't know.
I'm talking about for you.
For me, it's just like, yeah, why you what is it that you want to be over here and not over there?
But what I'm trying to put, they're doing that. But what's bothering you about
I
it?
just
Is it common
I don't
courtesy?
know.
You just have to expect
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if it's the fact that they're coming over and not saying anything, or it's other machines that they could go to.
You keep on talking about them. I'm
Well,
asking
people.
you.
Yeah, I'm
Why
telling
does
you,
it-
I don't,
okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. And when you say that, I'm saying, is it because if there's 5 machines over here to the right, why are you coming right here next to me?
Okay.
And
Why-
not,
Okay.
and what is it that bothers me? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because why does that bother you if they come to
Yeah.
you? Even if it's 5 machines, why
Just
does
go-
that bother
go
you?
over
Maybe
there.
you feel like entitled to that space that you're in,
Maybe.
and then invaded it. So it's like, why are you next to me? But like, what does it change if like it's, let's say you're doing your laundry, every other laundry machine is broken, the only one next to you is working, and they come right there.
Well,
but
that's
you
different,
don't know that though.
right? Okay, it's possible.
Situational awareness, but at the same time, it's like, I think that just might be like our people kind of thing too, though. Cause have you ever like just been in like a store and like somebody's looking in the aisle and you're just right next to them, you grab it right there, but they don't show any type of like body language or anything. But if it was you, you'd be like, yo, what?
Well, me, I would say, excuse me, or whatever, because I'm polite when it comes down to things like that. So I guess those are probably some of my issues. I don't know where these issues are coming from, but I tend to give space. Like some people come and sit right next to you, and it's just like, why all of this space over here? And I guess I gotta re-examine why I feel the way I feel about that, because I do feel some kind of way about it. Like, come on, go over there.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad thing, cause some people like germs. Some people could be sick. You
And
don't
I'm not
know.
a germaphobe, so I don't know why. And I guess that's something that I gotta think about. Why does it bother me? Because it bothers me, and it's not because it's germs. I'm not one of those people that have to wear masks or sanitizing all the time. Or wash your hands, wash your hands. Some people, you was outside, wash your hands. That's not me. So I don't know. It must be something else, and I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit.
I mean, you're not alone in it. I mean, if somebody, like I said, my example, like in a store, like comes next to me and like grabs the bottle, I'm grabbing right next to it, and they don't say excuse me, then I'd feel some type of way. Like, you're in my space, you're invading it now. Like, you see me here, so it's like, okay, say something, excuse me, or oh, let me get past you real quick. But nothing. It can feel a little weird though.
Yeah.
It can feel a little weird.
You, cousin?
No, I can relate to a certain extent. I don't like, and I don't know if it's a New York thing. For me, New Yorkers kind of give you more space, but don't be up under me. Why do you need to be close under me? And maybe it's my arrogance, like back up. But in terms of someone, like you gave the 2 examples of the treadmill and the laundromat, it all depends on what space I'm in mentally at that time. If I want to be bothered or be, it all depends. Sometimes it might not bother me. And maybe another time may bother me. Like, yeah, why I question, all these other machines, why do you have to be under me? And who knows,
I think it's a lot of factors though you gotta take in with that though too, because like when you look at somebody, you also gotta take a look at yourself and then look at them real quick. Like, okay, does this person like they having a bad day? Do they like they might crash out if I say something? You know what I'm saying? Like some people will just literally be having a bad day, and that invasion of their space, even coming right next to you, you say something, could just mess it all up. So
Right.
Sometimes you gotta pick and choose that
No,
balance.
you absolutely right about that. And I tend not to really say much. I won't say anything because I just don't. Even like in parking spots, like when I drive my husband's car, because I don't really care about mine like that. But I park, and that's because I treat his stuff like he treated, far away. Because people will open up the car door on your car. They just disrespectful. So I'm like, I want to be mindful. So let me park. And sometimes you'll see people that's like right over there too. It's like. But I guess I don't know if it's a situational thing. I don't know what about that bothers me. But it does. And I don't know why.
From 1 to 10, 10 being it really bothers you, what do you rate that?
I would probably rate it like maybe a 6.5.
Really, that high?
Mm-hmm.
How about yourself?
For that situation, I would give it a 7 because
Well, I'm talking about in terms of the topic and space
the whole
and
thing
somebody.
space.
Yes.
Oof, okay, for myself, I'd probably give it a 3. But for the off chance of like parking spots, I give it a 7 just because like at the end of the day, that's your property and you got to take care of it. So it's like if you park all the way over there, nobody's near you, they park right next to you. Like you said, they swing the car door open or whatever the case may be, or maybe they thinking, oh, that look a lot like my ex car or something. You know, you never know what's going on, so
Right.
it's like that's your property. You gotta make sure like nobody's
Protect it.
protected, nobody's messing with it.
I didn't. I
But
never
overall,
thought
I
about
would give
that.
I would give it a 3. I'm not. That's not the first thing that comes to mind. Like, I'm usually observant around of my surroundings, but it wouldn't be, if she just came and sat down next to me, I wouldn't think too much of it,
As
But-
well, you would think.
Now I would only think that if there's a vast majority of seats,
Mm.
like church. If there's a whole bunch of seats, and maybe I wouldn't. But if there's a lot of seats, why choose to sit right here when you can sit over there?
Mm.
I'm just thinking, like, okay,
Could be a confidence battle type of thing,
And let me ask you this: since we're talking about space, do you need that type of space in your relationship?
I'm a space. Yes, I need space. Yes, I'm big on space.
So you big on space in general.
Yes, yeah, and
Across
I
the
never
board.
even it never clicked to just now. Yes, I like space. I want to do what I want to do, and I like to have freedom and flexibility. Like, don't be up on me, and it's not. How can I say it? Don't be up on me like that, because I like constant communication, but I do need my space. Like, I like to do things. Like, me and my cousin, we go out once a month, probably more than that. But I like to have that flexibility and freedom to do so. And just because I'm in a relationship, I gotta cut you off and no, So that's my thing. So I do need a lot of space.
You like that. You don't like to be. It sounds like. And correct me if I'm wrong. Being stifled. That closed in. You like to spread your wings. Free spirit.
I do. And now that I'm thinking about it, even in here, like, I use a piece of every piece in this room except for Kai's area. Like, it's rooms it's 5 rooms in here. I have stuff in all 5 rooms. So I guess it's something in here. I'm gonna have to get that-
Explore.
Yes, because I use all space.
When you say freedom in a relationship, what does that look like for you?
Well, it just means to be able to do what I need to do, and that's like if I'm going out with my cousin, or if I'm going somewhere, or we doing something, if I'm having a class, just that flexibility. If I want to travel, and I'm not saying that I'm not gonna travel with my mate, or we don't. It's just like just having freedom. I'm going out.
So if one day you going out, your husband is like, I'm not feeling it tonight. I don't feel comfortable you going out. You mind staying here? Do you feel like that is a vision of your freedom and your space, or that he's like just looking out for you, or you can take too much into it?
I feel like I would probably stay in, but it would be like why? Because I'm a why person. I always want to know why. And I guess I don't really like restrictions.
Mm.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because I don't restrict anybody. You can do what you want to do. Communication. Where you going? What we doing? What does that look like?
I hear what you're saying. You don't like restrictions, but you have boundaries.
Of course, you have to.
Okay. And how do you rate space? I know you relate space as it relates to sitting next to me, or the treadmill and all that as a 3, but it's space important to you in a relationship?
For me, I'm an energy person, so it depends on what the person is outputting to me. Like she said, like, I don't want you to be necessarily all up under me 24/7, but at the same time, like, sometimes you need room to breathe, and you need room to like be yourself, and sometimes you need room to like have that quiet time, because if somebody's constantly like, oh, what are we gonna do today, or can we do this, or what are we gonna eat today, every single moment of the day, that can mess with your mental a little bit, and it's like, okay, I gotta reset so I can deal with you. But for me personally, I think space is important. I think at the end of the day, if you don't have space, I think you're gonna end up mentally cluttered with your person, and that's not really a point you want to get to, or space you want to be into, because then now your space is awkward and you're not vulnerable enough.
So what do you rate it? From 1 to 10, meaning I need my space in a relationship. Being 10, I need my space. To 1, I want to be up under you most of the time. What do you?
I would say 5. I would say 5 specifically because for me, I know who I am. So if I really genuinely like you, like at moments there is no space, and at moments there is, okay, I can give you your space. But it also depends on the person. It can change with the person, because the person you with, theirs might be a 5, and you might have a good balance, but it turns into an 8 sometimes, some days.
Depending, right?
What would you rate it?
me, space is interesting. Space, I'm learning now at my age. I'm learning now. I'm enjoying my space. I will rate it maybe 6. Well, what was it, 5, 6. And like you said, it all depends on the person and their energy. I like to miss my partner.
Mm.
You go out with your girls, have a good time. Let me miss you. I can't have, I don't like somebody up under me, especially if I don't feel the same way. That's the key. That has happened to me. I don't, because I have a life and I'm still an individual and I got to maintain that. That's how you met me. You met me hanging out with my cousin, you know, several times during the month. You know, I'm in this club, that club, because I don't like to feel stifled. And I guess that also falls into the trust aspect, the communication aspect. All of that comes all under that umbrella. But I will rate it like a 5, 6. I need to still be Stacy. I still need to keep my individuality. And yes, nobody else can take it, but sometimes we fall in that trap. We lose ourselves. And I don't trust myself with that. That I might get involved and I get coaxed into let's be up under each other and start losing myself. I'm being honest.
Well, okay, so what you mean in
Come
terms
on.
of what losing yourself? How do you feel you would lose yourself?
Okay, let me give you a perfect. I've been in previous relationships where, first of all, I knew in my heart I didn't like the person the same, and I just wasn't my authentic self. It started doing what they wanted me to do, well, I really didn't want to do it. And just not having my own identity, just not being happy. My happiness means a lot to me. Just not being happy, just doing. And like I said, the first thing I shouldn't have been in a relationship because I didn't like them the same way. Not to say they were bad people, not at all. I just wasn't for them. They weren't for me, and it just created a forcing, a rushing, a losing. It just created. I just lost myself. You know. Wasn't my authentic self, knowing the things that I like, that I like to do, and them supporting that, and then understanding that, and appreciating that. That's it. That's
And I guess
Go ahead.
for me it's just like you said, lost yourself. I don't know. I never really felt like I lost myself. That's because I kind of like demand that space. I just, and now that I'm thinking about the washing machine, the treadmill, whatever, and I guess it all goes back to the space that I need. And with, you know, taking up space and just controlling, just being controlling too, for me. And it's just like, I'm really gonna have to examine that, because it's funny to me, but now I realize like it ties into my life, how I need that space. But certain things I like connection. Call me. I want to be called. You know, hey, what you doing? Where you at? Whatever. I like that. But the space, I need to be able to navigate, walk in the dollar store, look around, and, you know, go to Walmart, touch everything, go to the stores, and put my hand on everything. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to look into it.
No, okay.
So as someone who's married, how do you communicate that? Like, we don't know your husband, so is he on the same level of space you need?
Well, he gives a space. It's never an issue. Like, I travel and I do stuff. It hasn't been a problem. Maybe it is. I don't know. I have to ask him. But I don't think so. He doesn't clutter my life. You know, I'm like, I'm going out because we roll. You know, and I would go with him too, but he's just not interested. We're not interested in the same type of things. Like, he watches movies. I'm a podcast watcher. So we're not on the same thing. He doesn't watch sports. She watch sports. But I go with her. You know, we going over here. We're going to Monticello's or whatever. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So I don't have those type of issues, and I guess I thank God, because I don't think I would be able to deal with that if I had to, because I do enjoy my space, and the space is not because I'm looking to meet other people or to just, you know, be out of bounds. It's just that's what I need.
Do you feel like you guys are very different people altogether?
We are different in a lot of ways, and just the way we think and the mindset. Yes.
Well, this has been an interesting topic, and something that we need to ponder on. I'm glad you were here because you gave a different perspective.
Right.
And you asked some very interesting questions that we need to explore. You know, I know a lot of it was directed to my cousin, but I was thinking as well. Again, thank you so much,
Of course.
Awani.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Tina, again, till next time, this has been some interesting topics that, definitely explore. And part 2, part 3, part 4 come up next.
Right.
So thank you both. Thank you for having me here and being here with you.
I appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you for being here. Thank you for
Thank you.
assisting, helping out with your questions, and you as well. Because you had some good ones that I didn't think about, and my head is turning because I'm thinking and thinking and thinking. So I appreciate you.
Take some of the therapy with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, so I'm definitely, and I definitely will. Yes. So I'm Tina Eisen.
I'm Stacy.
Armani.
I'll do anything that you want to. Shop experience right by the shoe. If you want it, you need it, I got it, babe.